Now comes the important question, what exactly is the difference between Git and GitHub? There will be a lot of software engineers working on using Git, doing Git operations on a daily basis. But still some of them are confused as to what exactly is the difference between Git and GitHub. So Git is a version control system to keep a track of your source code, right? And Git is open source. Whereas GitHub is a service hosted on cloud to keep track of your Git repositories. So Git operations, if you remember, always deal with a repository which is hosted in some IP address. There has to be some place where the Git repository, the main master repository, needs to be present, right? In the internet. That's what GitHub provides. It provides a hosting service for that repository. That means, let's say your master repository can be hosted in cloud by using services like GitHub or Bitbucket. This is another Git repository hosting service, or there is something called GitLab. So these three are the services. These three are the Git repository hosting services, which will be saving your repositories in the cloud. And on top of that, it provides you to make changes to those repositories by some other features like pull request. And it also provides some sort of additional features to keep track of, let's say, your bugs, your CI/CD pipelines, that is continuous integration. So it provides some of the additional bunch of features apart from hosting your Git repositories, right? So in layman terms, Git is a version control system. So Git is an open source software, whereas GitHub is a service which is hosted on the cloud to store your Git repositories, rather your Git remote repositories, right? So Git remote repositories needs to be stored somewhere in the cloud repository, which will be stored in github.com. And you are here contributing to this repository, and you have your own local machine, and you'll be taking a clone, of this remote repositories, and let's call it as a clone, and you'll be working on this, and you have Git installed in your local machine. This is how the big picture looks, right? There is a remote repository hosted in some github.com address, or bitbucket.com, or gitlab.com. So these three are the hosting services of your Git repositories, and you take the local copy, or you take the clone of the repository, and you work and do changes like commit, branch, merge, all these changes using a software called Git in your local machine. And then you go ahead and do push or pull to the remote repositories. And Git is a software in which is nothing to do with GitHub. Git and GitHub are two different entities, just that they are closely working together. That means GitHub is basically used to host. It is only used for hosting your Git repositories. I hope you got some idea about Git and GitHub. If you do so, then do like it and subscribe, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos. We'll be doing some hands-on about different Git commands and things like that. Cheers. Bye.